All right, guess who's back? It's me. So as I played this yesterday on the test thing, I noticed there was a pop. So I'm gonna kind of show you where the pop is. It's when that motor engages and then when it disengages. So I don't have my speakers super loud, but kind of listen. Okay, did you hear that pop? So let's pick it back up so I don't get a thing here. And then we'll listen to it as it goes back into the cradle. And then listen to it as the motor shuts off. Right there. All right, I'm going to show you what I think that is. All right, open back up. And see that capacitor there coming off of our motor? That 0.047 at 125 AC volts. So I think that's the culprit because that's about the only thing in here. There is not a muting circuit. I had said that earlier in the first video, but this system does not have a muting circuit. So I will show you the schematic really quick where I'm seeing this at. Here's the schematic. They have, here is the 120. So right here tells us 120 at 60 Hertz. Here is that for that on-off switch for the motor. So that capacitor helps take away that popping noise that starts and stops in there. And you can see it's number C1.047. So from there, we would just go down to the parts list just to double check it. And there it is right there. C1.047 plus or minus 20%, 125. It's just a film cap. The European version, 250. I mean, you can, if you had a 250, you can use the 250 also. It's not going to hurt it. We just don't want to change the capacitance very much as the voltage. We could go up. So I'm going to look in my jukebox capacitors and see if I can find one. I always keep a stash of various capacitors. I'm not going to use an electric lytis. I'm not going to look through there. These little films, I've been keeping packages of these. I kind of separate them. This is 0.01s, and so that's going to be 1000s. This is some 0.4s, and right there we've got a couple. I'll show you kind of the difference, but you got to make sure you're looking for. There's that one. And some people might go, oh, here's a better one, which is bigger. But in truth, you got to look at that. That's a 0.47, 250. Here is a 0.047 at 400 volts. So this is one we're going to use. Now, some people might ask, hey, that's not the same size as that other one. Everything in electronics has gotten smaller over the years. Technology, some of the film caps, my gosh, or not film caps, but electrolytics. You know, I used to use, you know, you'd have like this one here. This is a 10,000. And back then that thing might be that big back in the 60s. So yeah, you just want to make sure, like I say, you want to make sure your capacitance is roughly the same, unless you're trying to achieve something different. And the voltage equal to or greater than. Now you don't want to go hugely greater because of size. You start getting really big in cost. But in these film caps, the prices don't jump up that much. And this being a 400 volt one is fine. I'm all good with putting this in here. So, all right, put it in. All right, I'm right here at this capacitor. I didn't want to bore everybody because I'm sure most everyone's already done soldering, desoldering, changing components. But since I'm working inside instead of out in my shop, so I'm set up on a little table, I have to bring a few things in. So I brought my Heiko soldering iron in, and I brought just a little bit of desolder wick in. And what you do is, I usually will heat the joint up a little bit to get the flow. And then you start adding the solder wick to suck it all in. It's definitely slower. I mean, I could have brought my desoldering station in, but it's loud. My wife thinks it makes cow noises as it's going. And so I'm just doing it by hand. I also have, which I should show them, so you've seen them, the solder suckers where you plop the plunger, it locks it, get it in there, pop it, and it sucks it out. Then you spit the solder out. That's another way to do it. It's totally up to you. The main thing is make sure you have a good soldering iron. Keep your tip clean. Keep your sponge wet. Have the abrasive Brillo to kind of clean stuff, and do it that way. So anyway, I got the one side off. This is where our orange wire coming from the motor goes, and one side of the capacitor. The other side of the capacitor goes here, which goes to the white wire. They have it going underneath on this one for the other side of the switch. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out so you don't get bored watching. And I'll put the other one in, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. We're back here. Soldered in. Another thing, make sure you look around for loose little things. Like I see a little bit of solder droplet right there. I'm going to try to get that out. So I'm going to use my bare hands. So another disclaimer, make sure you wash your hands after you use soldering equipment. I don't want you all getting sick from this stuff. But yeah, just account for all your things. Make sure there's no little loose pieces, anything going around. Also, I would suggest that if you're going to do lots of soldering, I have a fan and a little vacuum out in the shop. I usually have the fan blowing it away from me. You don't want to be sniffing this stuff. I've been doing soldering since the mid-'80s and been pretty lucky, knock on wood, that in the early days I didn't have an extraction system or anything, but now I do, and because it's not good for you. So anyway, yep, back on. I'm going to close it all up. We'll give it a test play and see how it sounds. This little guard's a little bent over top of the RCA hookup in the thing. Interesting. All right, I'll catch you guys back over there. All right, we're ready for a sound test. I'm not going to actually sound test it. We're just going to listen for that pop. Let me get the Kenwood on. There's the relay. No hum on there either, because that's the grounding plug. Make sure your grounding plug, or not plug, the U connector is hooked up, because it will make a grounding noise with these things. So let's see, we have the volume. We'll go about 1/8 of a way. All right, let's listen. No pop there. That's nice. Let's take it into the run out. Go back. And there's the motor clicked off. No pop. So hope that helps someone else out that might have a poppy noise at the beginning when the motor turns on and at the end when the motor turns off. All right, this is a short one, so if you need other help, send me a message. I'm enjoying talking to people. Enjoy the day.